My friend, I want you to stay with me until the end of this message because today we are going to explore a life-changing truth. Dreams alone are not enough. Many people have dreams, but few ever turn them into reality. Why? Because the gap between I want and I have is filled with discipline, action, and commitment. If you've ever felt stuck, if you've ever wondered why your dreams seem far away, then listen closely because the answers are here. Watch until the end, and I promise you will walk away with the tools to turn imagination into achievement. 1. Dreams give life direction. Dreams are the blueprint of a meaningful life. They are the compass that guides our actions and decisions, giving our existence shape and purpose. Without dreams, we are like a ship without a rudder, floating aimlessly and responding only to the currents of circumstance. Jim Rohn often reminded us that dreams give life energy and vitality, creating an internal momentum that propels us forward. They provide a reason to rise in the morning with enthusiasm, to tackle challenges, and to face adversity with courage. Dreams show us what is possible beyond the mundane patterns of everyday living, encouraging us to push beyond limits we may have unconsciously accepted. Each person's dreams are unique reflections of their values, passions, and potential. For some, a dream may be achieving financial independence, a life where money works for you, not the other way around. For others, it may be nurturing a loving family, fostering connections that deepen over time. Some dreams may be spiritual in nature, seeking inner peace, enlightenment, or the fulfillment of a higher purpose. Others may revolve around personal mastery, developing skills, knowledge, or artistry that leave a legacy. Whatever your dream, it serves as a lighthouse in a sea of distractions and decisions. It gives you something tangible to aim for, something that transforms your daily efforts from random actions into meaningful steps toward a larger goal. Dreams also function as mirrors, reflecting not only what we want, but also what we are capable of becoming. When you dare to dream, you challenge yourself to grow, to reach beyond ordinary limits, and to take risks you might otherwise avoid. They force you to imagine a life larger than your current circumstances and to stretch your capabilities in pursuit of that vision. The very act of dreaming activates your creativity and problem-solving skills because in order to reach a dream, you must envision strategies, imagine outcomes, and anticipate obstacles. Dreams ignite the imagination, and imagination is the first spark of creation. They remind us that life is not meant to be endured. It is meant to be designed and pursued. Without dreams, life becomes reactive rather than proactive. Decisions are made from necessity rather than intention, and the sense of fulfillment remains elusive. People may achieve success in external measures such as income or status, yet feel a void because their actions are not aligned with a higher vision. Dreams give context to our struggles, making sacrifices worthwhile and hardships meaningful. They transform setbacks into learning experiences because each challenge is encountered in service of a greater purpose. In essence, dreams are not just end goals. They are the energy that sustains the journey and the lens through which we interpret every victory and defeat. Finally, dreams connect us to hope and resilience. They remind us that life is a canvas and we are the artists of our own story. When we have a dream, we see the possibilities beyond current limitations. This vision allows us to navigate uncertainty with confidence and to persist when circumstances test our resolve. Dreams provide direction, clarity, and purpose, transforming ordinary lives into extraordinary journeys. They are not frivolous fantasies. They are vital guides that align our actions with our true potential. 2. Converting dreams into plans. A dream, no matter how inspiring, remains an abstract idea until it is translated into a plan. Planning is the bridge between imagination and reality. Jim Rohn said it clearly, If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. A dream without a plan is fragile. It can easily be postponed, derailed, or forgotten amidst life's distractions. Writing down your goals is the first tangible step toward bringing a dream to life. It transforms an ethereal wish into a concrete target, giving you a clear sense of direction and ownership over your journey. The act of writing down goals is more than symbolic. It engages your mind, solidifies your intentions, and makes you accountable to yourself. Breaking a dream into smaller, measurable steps is critical to progress. Few dreams are realized in a single leap. Instead, they require a series of deliberate, structured actions. Set timelines, identify priorities, and establish milestones that mark progress along the way. By doing this, the dream transforms into a project with actionable components. For instance, if your dream is to become financially independent, a plan might include steps such as reducing debt, increasing savings, investing wisely, and learning about financial management. Each step becomes a building block, allowing you to measure progress and adjust strategies as needed. Planning also introduces focus and discipline into the pursuit of a dream. Without a plan, we are susceptible to distractions, indecision, and wasted effort. A well-designed plan outlines what must be done today, not someday. It eliminates ambiguity and creates structure in daily life. Planning requires reflection, prioritization, and strategic thinking, skills that are valuable beyond the immediate goal. It allows you to anticipate obstacles, allocate resources wisely, and remain consistent even when motivation fluctuates. When a plan is in place, your actions become intentional rather than accidental, and progress is no longer dependent on fleeting inspiration. Plans also create accountability. Sharing your goals with trusted mentors, friends, or colleagues adds an external layer of responsibility. Regularly reviewing and adjusting your plan ensures that it remains relevant and effective as circumstances change. This iterative process strengthens resilience and problem-solving skills, reinforcing the idea that dreams are dynamic. They evolve as we grow, but they always require active pursuit. A plan is not a rigid cage. It is a flexible roadmap, guiding you while allowing adaptability and creativity to navigate challenges. In essence, converting dreams into plans transforms hope into a strategy. Dreams are the vision, plans are the execution. Without a plan, even the most compelling dream risks remaining unfulfilled. Planning empowers you to take control of your life, prioritize what truly matters, and steadily move toward the future you desire. When dreams and plans align, possibility turns into progress, and vision transforms into reality. The dream that once seemed distant becomes achievable because every day has a clear purpose, and every action has a direct impact on the desired outcome. 3. Building action habits. Habits are the invisible architecture of success. The distance between a dream and its realization is measured not in grand gestures, but in the consistency of small daily actions. Jim Rohn emphasized that discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Daily routines and habits compound over time, producing results that far exceed the sum of individual efforts. Whether it is studying, exercising, saving, or practicing a craft, repeated actions build momentum and create lasting change. Habits turn intention into reality because they embed progress into the rhythm of everyday life. Motivation alone is unreliable. It ebbs and flows with mood, energy, and circumstance. Habits, on the other hand, create systems that make progress automatic. By committing to consistent routines, you no longer rely on fleeting enthusiasm to move forward. For example, reading for an hour every day may seem small, but over a year it accumulates into hundreds of hours of knowledge and insight. Saving a fixed percentage of income daily or weekly builds wealth incrementally. Exercise, reflection, and skill building all follow the same principle. The steady repetition of intentional actions produces extraordinary results over time. Habits are also foundational to character development. Who we are is reflected in what we do consistently. Discipline cultivates resilience, focus, and self-respect. It strengthens the ability to delay gratification, to prioritize long-term benefits over short-term pleasure, and to endure challenges without giving up. As habits shape character, character shapes destiny. Successful individuals are often distinguished not by innate talent, but by the persistence and structure embedded in their daily routines. They have learned to align their behaviors with their dreams, turning aspirations into lived reality. Building habits requires strategy and patience. Start small and grow gradually. Focus on consistency rather than intensity. Identify keystone habits, those that have a ripple effect across other areas of life. For instance, exercising daily often leads to better eating habits, improved energy, and increased mental clarity. Journaling, planning, and reflection can enhance productivity and decision-making. Over time, these small, seemingly insignificant choices accumulate into significant achievements. Habits also create momentum. Progress fuels motivation, and motivation reinforces habit, creating a self-sustaining cycle of growth and achievement. Finally, habits provide freedom within structure. They reduce decision fatigue, minimize wasted energy, and allow focus on higher-level strategic actions. Once positive habits are established, success becomes a natural byproduct of daily behavior rather than an extraordinary event requiring luck or constant willpower. By designing habits intentionally, you design your future. The bridge between dreams and accomplishments is crossed one disciplined action at a time, and with each repetition, your life moves closer to the vision you have dreamed. The key is consistency, patience, and the unwavering belief that small steps, taken persistently, lead to remarkable results. 4. Reviewing progress. Dreams are not static. They are living, evolving visions that require constant attention, assessment, and refinement. To make meaningful progress, one must develop a disciplined habit of reviewing their journey. Every individual who achieves greatness, whether in business, athletics, leadership, or personal development, understands that success does not occur by accident. It emerges from consistent reflection, analysis, and the willingness to adapt. Without reviewing your progress, you are essentially navigating a ship in the fog. You may be moving, but you risk heading in the wrong direction. Jim Rohn, one of the foremost philosophers of personal achievement, often emphasized that life itself is a classroom and that we must become students of our own experiences. This means critically evaluating our actions, choices, and results regularly. Weekly or monthly reviews are not a chore. They are an essential practice that ensures we remain on course toward our long-term objectives. By examining what worked, what failed, and what can be improved, we gain clarity. This clarity allows us to see patterns we might otherwise miss, recognize opportunities that were invisible in the moment, and anticipate challenges before they arise. Reviewing progress is not about self-criticism or judgment. It is about gaining objective insight into our performance. It allows us to replace emotional reactions with rational adjustments. When a strategy fails, the Stoics would remind us not to despair, but to respond thoughtfully and decisively. You do not quit, you realign. You do not blame, you adjust. The simple act of measurement has profound psychological effects. It transforms vague aspirations into actionable steps. By tracking progress, we sharpen our focus, learn from mistakes, and reinforce behaviors that lead to success. It is the bridge between intention and achievement. Each review session is an opportunity to ask, are my actions consistent with my goals? Are my priorities aligned with my long-term vision? What needs more attention? What can be delegated, optimized, or discarded? In essence, reviewing progress is the ongoing conversation we have with ourselves about our lives, our dreams, and our capacity to grow. It is the anchor that keeps us steady in the storm of distractions, doubts, and setbacks that inevitably come. Without it, we drift. With it, we navigate with precision, transforming ambition into reality. To delve deeper, consider the psychological implications of reviewing your progress. Humans are naturally prone to overestimating short-term success and underestimating long-term effort. This cognitive bias can be dangerous. It creates complacency when we are ahead and despair when we fall behind. Regularly reviewing your results combats these tendencies by presenting an honest account of reality. It forces you to separate emotion from fact. What were your achievements? How measurable were they? Where did effort fall short? By documenting outcomes, we gain an empirical understanding of cause and effect in our own lives. Beyond practicality, there is also a motivational benefit. Seeing tangible evidence of progress, however incremental, fosters a sense of accomplishment that fuels further effort. Progress is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is a small improvement in habit, a tiny gain in efficiency, or a slight expansion in skill. Yet these incremental wins accumulate over time, creating momentum and confidence. In fact, most significant success stories are not the result of one monumental breakthrough. They are the sum of countless adjustments, reflections, and small improvements made consistently over months and years. Reviewing progress is also an exercise in humility. It reminds us that mastery is a process, not an event, and that learning never ends. By embracing this perspective, we build resilience. Challenges and setbacks become lessons rather than threats. This mindset, rooted in observation, analysis, and action, creates a feedback loop of improvement. Each review informs the next, and each adjustment brings us closer to the fulfillment of our dreams. In this way, the practice of reviewing progress is not simply a business or productivity tactic, it is a philosophy of life. It encourages self-awareness, discipline, and deliberate growth. And perhaps most importantly, it protects us from the fatal mistake of pursuing our goals blindly. By reflecting, measuring, and refining, we ensure that our dreams are not only alive, but moving steadily toward reality. 5. Momentum builds confidence. Momentum is a subtle yet profound force that underpins all achievement. It is the compounding effect of effort, progress, and small wins that gradually transforms potential into results. The first steps toward any dream are always the most challenging. It is easy to feel overwhelmed, uncertain, or even paralyzed at the beginning of a journey. But once you start moving, once you take action and experience even minor victories, the momentum begins to build. Jim Rohn famously said that success feeds on itself. This is not just a motivational phrase, it is a psychological truth rooted in human behavior. Each accomplishment, no matter how modest, reinforces belief in your ability to succeed. It teaches the mind and the body that effort leads to results. As momentum grows, confidence is no longer hypothetical, it becomes tangible. You begin to trust your judgment, your skills, and your persistence. The cycle of action, achievement, and reinforcement accelerates progress exponentially. One small win leads to another, creating a sense of inevitability about success. This principle applies across every domain of life. An athlete who consistently trains, even when results are initially modest, experiences improvements that compound over time. A business owner who takes small, consistent steps toward growth eventually sees a measurable increase in revenue, influence, and stability. Even personal development, Learning a language, mastering an instrument, or cultivating a habit follows the same pattern. Momentum does not require perfection, it requires persistence. The Stoics often taught that what matters is the next right action, not the total absence of failure. Each positive step, however small, is a deposit in the bank of progress. Momentum also has an emotional dimension. It creates excitement and energy that propels you forward. The initial hesitation or fear gives way to anticipation and enthusiasm. You start to believe in your capability not because you have reached the summit, but because you are already climbing steadily. In this way, momentum transforms a daunting journey into an exhilarating adventure. Celebrating these wins is crucial. Recognition of progress reinforces confidence and strengthens the psychological engine that drives further achievement. Without celebration, progress can feel invisible, and momentum stalls. With acknowledgement, even minor victories become milestones that signal growth and potential. Ultimately, momentum is the proof that your dream is not only possible, but already in motion. It turns abstract aspirations into lived experience, showing that every step forward counts and that progress itself is a reward. To expand on the nature of momentum, it is important to understand that it is a self-reinforcing force. The more consistently you act toward your goals, the stronger the momentum becomes. Each small success compounds with others, creating an upward spiral of achievement. This is why starting, even imperfectly, is far more valuable than waiting for ideal conditions. The first mile may be the hardest because of inertia, doubt, and fear. But once the wheel begins turning, it acquires kinetic energy that makes continuation easier. Momentum also fosters resilience. When challenges inevitably arise, the ongoing progress serves as evidence that setbacks are temporary and surmountable. This creates a psychological buffer against discouragement. Momentum encourages proactive behavior. Seeing results motivates you to take further action, not merely react to circumstances. It encourages initiative, creativity, and problem-solving because the forward motion becomes a force in itself. Moreover, momentum builds a narrative of self-efficacy. You start to view yourself not as someone who hopes to succeed, but as someone who consistently delivers. This mindset is transformative, affecting all areas of life. It turns the impossible into achievable, the abstract into tangible, and the dream into a reality in motion. In essence, momentum is not merely a byproduct of action, it is a catalyst for sustained success, confidence, and fulfillment. It reminds us, as Jim Rohn taught, that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with deliberate steps, and that each step, once taken, brings us closer to a life of purpose, achievement, and joy. Dream big, then get to work. Jim Rohn taught that the world rewards action, dedication, and perseverance. Your dream is the starting point, but your effort is what gives it life. The next chapter of your success begins with what you do after you finish listening.